Thank you, Sarah. If you haven't figured this out, I am not from this area. I am a New Yorker, but I will try and slow down. I've been listening to Buzz, and I have a tape of Jay that I listen to twice a day. So I will try, but you know. That saying is, we got here as fast as we could. Well, I have two very formidable tasks to perform tonight. First, I have to reflect on our good and beloved friend, Dorothy Mitchell-Kincaid, who passed over in August after a long and valiant battle with pancreatic cancer. And I have the honor of presenting the Dorothy Mitchell-Kincaid Community Impact Award to a person of immense integrity and strength of character who understands that justice is for all of us. I have those two tasks. I'm going to embarrass you one more time, Fred. I'm delighted to have you here to join us for dinner, and it was my honor to sit next to you, and you're a friend, buddy, and we'll stay that way for a long, long time. Thank you. Dorothy Mitchell-Kincaid was a native Alcoan raised in a strong working-class family. Her mother worked as a domestic, and her father worked in the kitchen at Maryville College. Dorothy graduated from Charles M. Hall High School just before it was desegregated. Now, Dorothy did not like the word integrated because that means that just being in the same place at the same time doesn't really mean that you're accepted and there's no equality and you're not necessarily included. So that talks about Dorothy's position on life in many, many ways. Dorothy loved her community, and when she looked around, she saw potential in everybody. Included in many of Dorothy's accomplishments, and this will just be a short list, we'd be here too long if we tried to recount everything that she contributed to the community. So I picked a few of the ones that I thought were the most significant. She was a co-founder of the Hall Oldfield Neighborhood Association, now known as Home Inc., which started at least in part to protect black-owned businesses in what was known as the commercial building. Seeing the potential in young people in her community, she helped organize the Hall Course, a youth program that at one time had 100 participants. I'm looking for reassurances and agreements with some of you folks in the audience that really knew her well. Dorothy knew well the value of honoring those who came before us and preserving their experiences. This is fairly recently, but she's been working on this project for a long time. Working with Dr. Andrew Baskin of Berea College, they recorded the oral history of Blount County African Americans. And those tapes are housed at the Blount County Library and archived at Berea College. And I just saw in today's annual report from the Great Smoky Mountains Association that they are also engaged in a very similar project. So keep your eyes open for that. Based on her own life experiences, in 2013, Dorothy enlisted the help of others like Reverend Willa Estelle, wherever they are, and founded the beloved Community Outreach Foundation, which is a nonprofit dedicated to helping Blount Countyans with chronic health illness, keep up with their basic life expenses. It is now the Dorothy Mitchell-Kincaid Community Outreach Foundation. Dorothy was a prime mover in bringing Dewana Thompson, the founder of Woke Vote, to Blount County for 2 days of training and motivation. We had over 100 people fill the service center in Alcoa for that training, a phenomenal session, all because Dorothy made it happen. Woke Vote, for those who were not familiar with it, was responsible for turning out unprecedented numbers of African Americans in the last Alabama Senate election that resulted in a Democratic victory. And Dewana had been an official with the Obama administration, so she brought both personal and professional experiences to the county. Dorothy was a member of the Blount County Democratic Party Executive Committee, and she served as campaign chair for Jackie Hill to get her elected to the county. Now, she also served as the campaign chair when Jackie had run previously for county clerk and it didn't work out.
Hey, that was okay.
That was great training. That was training for the success. Now, Dorothy always stood up for others in need. And Jackie told me this story as I was putting together these remarks, and it's a poignant one. In the early 1960s, and keep that time reference in your mind as I tell you this, Dorothy met a young white girl who used a wheelchair, a disabled young person, that seemed to have few or no friends. Dorothy insisted that Jackie and her cohorts, the other young ladies from the neighborhood, befriend this young lady and include her in all of their parties. And that went on for a number of years. Dorothy was a natural-born organizer, but she honed her skills after she went through training at the Highlander Center, where she had an opportunity to meet many, many of the names that we all are very familiar with. Now, Joe Davenport, who was a good personal, longtime friend, was supposed to be here tonight and was going to recognize her. So unfortunately, something happened in her own life where she couldn't make it with us. But Joe and Dorothy traveled throughout southern Appalachia working on community organization and poverty issues. And keep in mind, just picture, two women, one black and one white, traveling through southern Appalachia to do community organizing. Tells you about the courage and the character of Dorothy Kincaid. Dorothy understood the importance of engaging others in her vision and the need to harness the economic, political, and social resources of a community to achieve success. She was a woman with big dreams, a big heart, and a make-it-happen attitude. If one of her projects didn't work, she just moved on to another one. And I know that from personal experience. On a personal note, Dorothy helped me understand many things for which I will be forever grateful. She gave good guidance and counsel to many of us in this room. She was planning and organizing right to the very end. And just like the Honorable Elijah Cummings, who we know is issuing subpoenas in his last days from hospice, Dorothy was issuing instructions to us as she was passing over. I didn't bring up my wine glass with me, but I will still serve. I told her I was going to use hers, but she wouldn't let me touch it. There was too much wine left. So, we are here because this is one of Dorothy's favorite places. She really wanted us to come here to the Green Meadows because, the way I understand it, it was one of the few places African Americans could get together and have a party. She has many, many fond memories of this place. She also liked her margaritas. So, like a toast to Dorothy, our dear friend, here's to you and your legacy. Thank you for your courage, your leadership, and your friendship. Thank you, Dorothy. So you can get your wine. Now, just before I introduce the award winner this year, I have just a few comments about the award itself. First, it's not a political award. It's given in recognition of unselfish service to our community over an extended period of time. And it's presented to an individual who, by his or her actions, shows a commitment to the core values that were exhibited in the life of Dorothy Mitchell-Kincaid. It's also not necessarily an annual award. The Democratic Party can choose or choose not to present the award to a person so deserving. With that said, let me talk a little bit about Marjorie Stewart. Marjorie is a native of Selma, Alabama. Her commitment to diversity, education, and civil rights runs deep in her personal history. I have to admit I had a little help putting these remarks together, so you know who you can blame if you don't like what I'm about to say. I've heard she was a little too young to walk across the Edmund Pettus Bridge, but she did make it to the foot of the bridge on Bloody Sunday, March 7th, 1965.
Wow.
Yes.
Her family hosted H. Rap Brown,
Right on.
a leader in what we called SNCC, the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee. And across from the house where they grew up lived a person named Marie Foster,
Yes.
considered to be one of the mothers of the Civil Rights Movement. And there's a statue in Ms. Foster's honor at the foot of the Edmund Pettus Bridge. Just a few years ago, Sue and I made a trip through, going from here to, well, we wound up in Arizona, but we went the southern routes. And we walked the bridge, and I remember seeing the statue. We also got to meet the mayor of Selma when we were walking across the bridge. Margie is informed and guided by her faith. She's a deaconess in her church, where she teaches Sunday school and is director of adult Christian education. She sings in the choir along with her husband Dexter, her daughter Carrie, Maxine, Dexter's mom. Am I missing anybody who sings in the choir? And very well, do you say, I might add. I've had the opportunity to hear you more than once. She's joined here with my Dexter, Maxine, Carrie, and I'm going to get this right because it got corrected the last time. QJ. QJ? Where's QJ? There he is, right there. And Shayla, grandchildren. Welcome. Glad to have you here. I've also heard that she's considered to be the matriarch on the maternal side of the family. Now, among her many community contributions, she's a past secretary of the NAACP and is active in the local branch, which was recently reorganized. I guess still looking for new members, if you'll take them.
Take them.
The bills for the $30 are out there.
Democracy.
Okay. She served on the Racism Task Force, the Board of Girls, Inc., as a captain and mentor for Relay for Life, and as a member of Blood United. She's the treasurer of the Dorothy Mitchell-Kincaid Community Outreach Foundation. And according to Dorothy, you're the person that drives the bus for that organization. That's a quote. Margie received her bachelor's degree in elementary education from Warren Wilson College in Swannanoa, North Carolina, where she met Dexter. She went on to receive a master's degree in administration and supervision from Lincoln Memorial University. Margie completed courses in writing for children and teenagers from Children's Institute of Literature, and she attended the University of Tennessee's Governor's Academy on Writing and Multicultural Institute. She worked for the Selma Dallas County Equal Opportunity Commission, supervising students. And she also worked for Knoxville and Maryville City Schools for 30 years, from where she retired in Maryville City Schools. Now, while at the Maryville City Schools, Margie developed a project called the Diversity Trunk to broaden the perceptions of young people by including multiculturalism and exposure to diverse groups of people into the curriculum. After retiring, she didn't quit. She continued to provide training in diversity to Maryville and Blount County teachers, principals, and counselors. Now, it's also been reported that her strong organizational and writing skills were put to good use working with Dorothy on grants on many of Dorothy's projects. Margie is best known for her calm demeanor, her strength of character, her willingness to help others, and her humility. I know she said, "Why me?" when I called her up at the big news about the award. Now, as an elementary school teacher, she was known to take her own kids to the store to buy clothing, shoes, and coats for other children in need. And that's a fond memory of some of, at least one of her children. She's mostly fondly remembered by another progressive-minded person in the room, who was a new teacher fresh out of college, and she felt deeply supported and comforted by Marjorie in what can be described as a challenging environment. As a final testimony to Marjorie Stewart, she was nominated for this award by Dorothy Mitchell-Kincaid as her time of transition drew near. So Marjorie, would you join me at the podium, please? That I'll present. Let me read the plaque. It says BCDP 2019 Dorothy Mitchell-Kincaid Community Impact Award. Got to change a little bit glasses. Presented to Marjorie Stewart in recognition for her lifelong commitment to education, equality, diversity, and the well-being of all. Congratulations.
Like Lisa, I don't like being in the front, but I'm honored, I'm thankful, and I'm brought to tears for that introduction. I'm a very humble person, but I'm extremely grateful for this leadership award, even more so that it bears the name of my friend, Dorothy Mitchell-Kincaid Impact Award. Reflecting on the meaning of leadership, I came up with some skills that were associated with it, and they are humility, honesty, passion, commitment, courage, inspiration. A biblical meaning that I found says that leadership is the act of influencing others, serving to accomplish God's purposes. I hope that's what my life has been. These descriptive words created a picture in my mind of a mini angel and devil. I'm sure many of you have seen it, sitting on the shoulders of a person, trying to help them decide which way to go, right or wrong, and which direction they would choose. I never personally had the little mini devil or angel on my shoulder, but for over 40 years, the social equality mini, Dorothy Kincaid, was sitting on my shoulders, always saying, you can't sit down. You have to get out there and share your knowledge and experiences. As for those skills associated with leadership, she honestly had no humility in being passionate about and committed about courageously pushing me, even after I said no, to inspire and gas me to work on numerous projects that I thank her for this day. The one that I most dearly am passionate about is the Beloved Community Outreach Foundation. It's a most deserving and a very satisfying job. I believe that we all live on the edge of history, but never realize its importance until our contributions through service is revealed by time. We all do what we do. We go, we serve out of the needs that we see. Whatever God has allowed me in my experiences and service as a child looking at Selma or as an adult here in Blount County, all of the credit of leadership goes to him. For whatever small part I played in positively impacting children through education or participation in the fight for civil rights or social balance in this community that qualifies me for this wonderful award, I graciously accept it from the Blount County Democrat.